Hi again, Gregg Bell of the News Tribune here in Detroit. Ford Field, a lot more quiet than it was throughout this rockin' night in Motor City. Seahawks lose their first game of the season tonight, basically because Geno Smith can't play defense too. Career night for Smith passing, career highs in attempts 56, completions 38, yards 395, yet the Seahawks can't win, scoring 29 points on the road at Detroit. Without five, and then during the game, 6 starters on the defense, 5 of them in the defensive front 7. I thought the Lions won the game really in the first half by making the Seahawks chase them. The way Ben Johnson called the offensive game plan for Detroit, he countered Mike Macdonald, the Seahawks coach, going nickel a lot. I wondered before the game if Macdonald would try to go nickel and extra defensive backs with Devin Witherspoon and Trey Brown to offset all the missing guys in the front 7, and he did. And almost every time in the first half that the Seahawks went nickel, the Lions ran them out of it. They ran Jahmyr Gibbs, they ran David Montgomery right at the middle of the Seahawks defense at nickel, and then McDonald came out of nickel and went to base and put Witherspoon at outside corner opposite Reek Woolen, brought in backup outside linebackers and backup weak side linebackers with Jerome Baker, Boy Mafe, and Geno Smith all out. Travis Gibson played a lot tonight, was burned on a backside throwback touchdown pass to quarterback Jared Goff. Goff then, with the running game having set the tone for the night, in the second half, he started picking the Seahawks apart with the passes. He ended up 18 for 18, a perfect passing night against this absolutely depleted and ramshackle Seahawks defense. Okay, after the game in the locker room, Tyler Lockett said on the 4th down offensive pass interference with the Seahawks down 1 score in the 4th quarter on the 4th down completion that would have been a first down inside the 40-yard line of Detroit by Jackson Smith-Njigba. He said he was just running his route. He said he'd been called for offensive pass interference before, and I said at his locker, have you ever been called for one like that? He said no, not when he thought he was just running his route, but he also said officials, when someone gets that wide open on the flank on especially a key 3rd or 4th down play, they assume or look for how that guy got so wide open, in this case Smith-Njigba's route. And Geno Smith after the game said there was no contact. And he said, well, that's how officials have all the power. He was obviously not happy with that call. But let's be honest, even if the Seahawks come down the field and score in that 8-point game then, and we'll talk about the 2-point play in a minute, could their defense have really stopped Detroit with the game on the line? Probably not. The Seahawks were probably going to have to score again, even if they had tied the game after that 4th down penalty had it not been called on Lockett. Now, the 2-point play. We know that Mike Macdonald, 37-year-old coach, is in the new wave of analytics. He said after the game that he was going for the win in regulation. He didn't want to go to overtime, and he also knew that they were going to have to score again anyway to try to win the game. So he was trying to get within 6 there and try to win the game in regulation with another touchdown. Of course, he said we would have to stop them as well. We all saw how that went. That's how a Seahawks offense that went for 516 yards and had a career passing night from its quarterback, still lost by 2 touchdowns. First loss of Mike Macdonald's young head coaching career. The Seahawks are 3-1, a game ahead of San Francisco, and now come a stretch of 3 games in 10 days for Seattle. And this is where the injuries on the defense are really going to start becoming key. We'll find out Sunday against the Giants at Lumen Field if some of the injuries missing tonight in Detroit were so that they could play Sunday against the Giants and then 4 days later against the 49ers for what looks like will be early first place in the NFC West. That's a Thursday night game on October the 10th. McDonald said before they left Renton last week that was part of their thinking about some of these injured players. Then Julian Love got injured tonight, his thigh. He didn't play the last 2.5 quarters. They went to Kayvon Wallace as safety. It was makeshift city on the defense, and the Lions took full advantage of it. Seahawks 3-1 out of these first 4 games with a brand new coaching staff. Ryan Grubb, brand new offense, still putting in. Mike Macdonald still putting in a defense without all of his starting players, including Key and Uchenna Nwosu. Not that they'll take the loss tonight, but in the aggregate, 3-1 is a pretty good start for a team that's starting brand new in all 3 phases of the game. All my coverage is at thenewstribune.com, on Twitter at GBellSeattle. As always, thanks for watching. Have a pleasant early morning, late night back in Seattle. Thanks.